Okay, fantasy booking number 3. For this video, I'm going to take a shot at booking the TNA Knockouts title feud from now up to Bound for Glory. Now again, I'm not making any weird changes to the division. I'm going to try and stay in keeping with how it's been booked up to this point, with minimalistic storylines, focus on wrestling. I'm not going to book a Shimmer Invasion angle or anything like that, although that would be really cool. And TNA did just sign a talent exchange deal with Shimmer, so that could actually happen at some point, but that's for another video. Anyway, we all saw the match a couple weeks ago, Gail Kim versus Awesome Kong, where Angelina shoved Gail off the turnbuckle. Gail landed on her knee. Now she's selling an injury. So for Slammiversary, I would have a 6-woman tag match: Awesome Kong, Raisha Saeed, and Angelina Love versus ODB, Roxy Laveau, and Tracy Brooks. Of course, where Angelina Love goes, Velvet Sky goes too. We all know that by now. So I would have Velvet Sky keep interfering throughout the match until Gail Kim shows up. She comes down the ramp on crutches. She takes out Velvet with a crutch. Then she nails Angelina with a crutch too. And this stops Angelina from breaking up Roxy Laveau's pin attempt on Saeed. So the babyfaces get the win, and Kong looks pissed off at Saeed afterwards. The next Thursday night on Impact, Gail Kim meets with Jim Cornette. She basically says, "Look, Jim, I had Kong beaten that match until Angelina interfered. You know it, and I know it. Now I'm going to be cleared to wrestle by Victory Road, and I want my damn rematch." So Cornette makes the match, and he makes it a Falls Count Anywhere match. But since these two have wrestled each other like 100 times by now, he adds a stipulation that if Gail doesn't beat Kong this time, she'll never have another title shot as long as Awesome Kong is still the champion. So the odds are really stacked against Gail Kim now. Now, in the weeks leading up to the pay-per-view, I would continue the tension between Kong and Saeed, and basically, saying that Kong blames her for them losing the match at Slammiversary, and that Saeed is getting more and more pissed off about it. At Victory Road, Gail and Kong have their match. It's getting pretty brutal, pretty intense, as it usually does with these two. And during the match, they play up the fact that Raisha Saeed has had plenty of chances to interfere in Kong's behalf, but she hasn't, and Kong's getting really mad about that. The match goes outside the ring, they battle up the ramp, and the match ends when Gail spears Kong off the set. They both go flying. Kong takes the brunt of it. She's out cold. Gail crawls on top of her. She gets the pin, and she wins the title. So Gail drags herself to her feet. She holds up the title, and then she drops it. She grabs her stomach. She keels over. She bites a blood capsule, so she's got blood coming out of her mouth. The referee signals for medical help. The EMTs come in, and they stretcher Gail away. And the storyline is that Gail suffered internal injuries in the fall, so she finally defeated Kong. She finally won the title back. But the bitch of it is that the match took so much out of her that now she's too injured to be the champion. So Jim Cornette starts a new tournament with the final 2 women meeting at Hard Justice a month later to crown a new Knockouts champion. The tournament comes down to Roxy Laveau and Raisha Saeed. And during the show, Roxy's doing an interview when Gail Kim shows up. It's the first time that we've seen her since Victory Road a month before. Now she says she's feeling better. She's still not cleared to wrestle, but she came to wish Roxy good luck in her title match. So Roxy and Saeed have their match. Of course, Velvet and Angelina try to interfere again because the feud with Roxy is still ongoing. Roxy tries to fight them off. The heels have a miscommunication, and it looks like Roxy is right on the verge of winning, and then Awesome Kong appears in the entranceway. It's the first time that we've seen her since Victory Road, too. She's dragging Gail Kim's body behind her. Gail is unconscious, her face is covered with blood, and this distracts Roxy, and Saeed capitalizes, rolls her up, and wins the title. But it doesn't end there. Kong comes down to the ring. She attacks Roxy, gives her the Awesome Bomb, and then when Saeed celebrates with the belt, she turns her back to Kong, and then Kong grabs Saeed, Awesome Bombs her, and then she gets a steel chair and goes batshit crazy on Saeed, just completely brutalizing her. And then finally, when she's finished, she tears off the burqa, and we see that, hey, that's Melissa Anderson. And they probably wouldn't want to call her Cheerleader Melissa because TNA doesn't own the rights to the gimmick, so they can't license it or whatever. So we'll just call her Melissa Anderson for the purposes of this video. The next Thursday night on Impact, I'd have another Knockouts title match because they seem to like having title matches in the first show after the pay-per-view. That seems to be the trend in TNA right now. Saeed, who's now going by Melissa Anderson, defending against the returning Awesome Kong. Now, Melissa is really selling the beating from the pay-per-view. She's obviously not 100%. She puts in a strong effort, but Kong beats her in the end, winning the title back. And then she destroys Melissa again after the match. Now, a month later at No Surrender, I'd have Awesome Kong defend the title in a fatal 4-way against Roxy, ODB, and Angelina. Now, the story of this match is that Roxy and Angelina are so consumed with their personal rivalry, they get so fixated on each other that they end up taking each other out of the match, which eventually leaves ODB to get pinned by Kong. Now after the match, Kong is making her way back up the ramp, and then Melissa appears in the entranceway. She's got a steel chair. She looks like a fucking mad woman, like she is just out for blood. Okay, Kong retreats from her. She tries to get out through the crowd, but then all of a sudden there's Gail Kim. She's got another steel chair. So Kong's back is against the wall now. They get her cornered in the ring. They knock her out with the concerto spot, and then Gail pulls out a title match contract. The three of them in a triple threat match at Bound for Glory for the Knockouts title. Now, in the weeks leading up to Bound for Glory, I'd have a multi-part sit-down interview with Melissa Anderson, where she explains that the whole reason that she took on the Raisha Saeed persona was because she knew the TNA was looking for a mouthpiece for Awesome Kong, but the marketing department didn't want some girl off the streets of San Francisco. They wanted somebody who would kind of add to Kong's mystique. So she put on the burqa. She learned to speak with the accent, and she went along with Kong's whole dog and pony show, all just so she could get her foot in the door in TNA. And then she goes on to explain that the whole story of her and Kong being friends when they were training together in Japan, that was all true. But she always had the suspicion that the reason Kong befriended her in the first place was so she wouldn't have to compete against Melissa, because she knew that Melissa was good enough to beat her. She says that she sees that fear in Kong's eyes when Kong looks at her, and it's the same fear that she sees when Kong looks at Gail Kim. And now the three of them are going to meet at Bound for Glory, and it's going to be a fucking war. And why the hell not? You know, these are the three best wrestlers in the women's division. Let's have them face off at Bound for Glory for the Knockouts title. So, that's all I got. As always, please leave me your feedback. I'll be back soon. So, see you later.